Hey YouTube, some amp things to. This has been. You've noticed this has been hanging about the last week or so. I did have this amp in before. Woo! Sorry, testing mic's working. 6 months ago, maybe something like that. And I plugged it in, ready to do a video, and I couldn't get it to turn on. It does come with another box with a pedal which you need to change to the overdrive channel, so I think I might be stuck on clean just now. But this is, I think the amp should be good enough, so I'm using my best guitar straight into the amp. I'm using the Trace 3x12 cabinet, which ideally probably having it behind the settee is not the best place to have it, but the mic's on it, so it should sound relatively close to what it is. So when I was in the back of this, I saw there was a half power switch, so I have hit the half power switch. So, and the amp it's His Royal Majesty by ceriatone. So it's apparently a Dumble type amp, although I think every Dumble's different, and the guy made them all himself. They're worth hundreds of thousands of pounds each. But I assume it's so it would be a copy or a tribute to one of the Dumble amps. I don't know which one it was somebody had. But I mean, I don't even know the wattage of it. Minutes. So far I've not touched any of the knobs. I basically turned it on and turned the master volume up a little bit and the volume up from 0. So, and we see where it is. We end up. Yeah, so we've got, I'll just shout from over here. Volume, pull for bright channel. Put everything at 12 o'clock. I do have to say that I like the volume controls are nice and work low down. So, I mean, I know that's, oh, I've just spent thousands of pounds on an amp and that's my comment, but for playing in the house, or I suppose recording, it's kind of more likely what you're going to be doing with it rather than gigging. So most of the amps I've got have that problem about they are just far too big to play in the house, so the volume control kind of doesn't do anything. And then it sort of breaks in. Then by the time you get to 1, it's kind of loud enough. Whereas these seem to be a little bit more. You can sort of, sitting at 3 is in the house volume, so you can actually get a wee bit of playing it rather than sitting there trying not to touch it. Happens quite a lot in that Orange, where I've, if I've been sticking a lead in, and I've accidentally touched the volume control and just knocked it a millimetre down. You can't hear it. If I knock it a millimetre up, it's just too loud. So it's like really annoying. But it seems to be very, very full. There's no pedals. I'm just going straight into the amp. There's also a button that says rock and jazz. I notice it's the only one that's actually switched. It's certainly switched to rock. So I'll put it to jazz and see what happens. But I'll try the deep and then the mid boost. Sorry, position 2 maybe. My temptation would be to say that I've just switched the deep button off rather than turning it on. Back off the bright channel. So I'm now thinking the mid boost is on. a unique situation to be in there. That's me. So basically, all I've touched so far, I've just put the EQs all at north at 12 o'clock, and messing about with the bright channel, which is a push pull pot on the volume control. The deep, just a button called deep. So is that a boost? Don't know. Just deep. And then mid boost. And normally when you get, even in guitars, you get the extra switch. It gives you extra sounds that aren't as good as the original sounds. To me, that sounds better with every time you put one of those switches on, it sounds a wee bit better. So it's like, oh, so it's got the deep and it's got the mid and it's got the bright channel, and all three of them on's the best sound. I think, for what I'm doing just now with this guitar. So it's nice to have that rather than having, obviously not with a coil split, but I used to get it with coil splits, and it was like, basically, why would you ever want that? Now I understand what they do and I can play a bit better, but when I was like starting out, it was like, coil split, it's like basically you turn it on, it just makes the pickup sound shitter. What's the point in that? Why would you want not to have a humbucker? Now I understand, but yeah. It's nice. It's nice. Also nice playing through a nice big 3x12. I should connect the orange back into the 3x12. It's just sitting there now. So that's with all three buttons on at half power. And then there's the button that says it's set to rock. So I'll set it to jazz. Jazz! All the buttons off, and it's set to jazz, and on the neck pickup. Might as well turn all the tone off as well, eh? Yep, and that was my impersonation of somebody who might be playing jazz. Yeah, I'll not do that, because what's happening there is it's the actual sound of the amp isn't changing when I'm turning the volume up, which is the sign of a belter of an amp. My big Marshall bass amp does that. So you sit there, you've got it at a relative volume, and you turn it up, and it doesn't sound any different. It's just louder. But I was watching the VU meters on the thing there, and it was just going up. Whereas to me, it was just like, oh, it's not really doing anything. And it's like, yes. It's just because the sound's exactly the same. It's not like when you turn your TV volume up and it sounds distorted. So it sounds loud even if it isn't loud. Whereas this is like, it sounds loud and you don't notice it because you just realise that you can't hear anything else. Yeah. Kind of tempted to go and see if I can find the distortion switch in the back. There were a couple of switches. One of them was it effects loop? I can't remember. I'll have to have a look. But I quite like to see if I can get the distortion on. Yeah, there's switches which change it from pedal to manual. Don't think it's that one. There you go, drive channel. master thing is only for the bright channel and the overdrive channels. Thinking I probably shouldn't have hit that half power button on the back. Yeah. Okay, it's a bit louder. Oh, I'm not going straight into the amp. Instead of going like that, that's reverb. Gotta be, yeah. So, it was an unpure signal path. I must have plugged in just actually tune it all down. So I will go for the purest of tones. There we go. So now straight into the amp. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it's superb. Kind of thought it was going to be. Mind you, you never know. Sometimes they're just not what these amps aren't what you expect it to be. To me, it's kind of. I'm probably totally wrong with this. I'm going to guess it's not really that many watts, although I do have it on half power. But I'm thinking rather than being the 30 watt cut down, it might be smaller than that. It might only be like, I don't know. I'm probably wrong. I'm obviously not turning it up full bung. It just seems to have an awful lot more control at usable volumes than most 30 watt amps have. You know what I mean? It's like, as I said, it's like you kind of seem to be almost just until the volume knob engages. And this one, it seems to be a little bit. It's a bit smoother. Maybe it's just 'cause it's more expensive. No, I mean, this guitar's just sounded fantastic. So I don't need no pedals at all. It's a bit weird the way it's got a separate box, which I'll have to do another video on as well, to plug into it, because you can't. Mind you, you wouldn't have thought it'd be that difficult to make a foot switch that switches between the two channels. You know what I mean? I would have thought. I'm wondering, does the EQ actually work on the overdrive channel? So there was me thinking that, oh, it's quite subtle EQ. It's when you're on the overdrive channel, there isn't an EQ. It's just on. But it's just got that lovely amount of... I don't seem to be able to get a sound that I don't like out of it. They're all variations on a theme, but they're all good. It's not a case of, I'll turn the mid down, see what that sounds like. It's like, yeah, it sounds different. It doesn't really sound better. It sounds good as well, but with less mid. Or it sounds good with more treble. Or more distortion. Handle the telly. And then super distortion. Both of them on. Back to clean. Maybe a bit of a noise there actually, which I didn't hear on the drive channel, did I? Okay, I did. Valves are as valves do. There's always a wee bit of a noise. What I'm going to do is I'm obviously going to plug the orange back into that cabinet. There's no point in me having it sitting in that cabinet not using it. You're using the internal speaker. Sounds alright. It seems it's a very controlled amp. It sounds very deliberate. I like it. That's great. I will have to do more videos on it though. I think they're thousands of pounds worth. But try it with the loop pedal and, you know, mid distortion pedals to see if it muffs, all that sort of stuff, rather than the Puritan route. But I mean, there's definitely. I think I'm joining a band just coming up once I get a car, and just running no pedals and all that. Just this amp could do it. Did I just stand in the lead? I just pulled the lead at the front. I'm going to quiet, stop working. It's basically just that because that first time I ever plugged this amp in like 6 months ago when it just turned on and the fuse was blown before I'd even touched it. That's twice it's happened. That's the third time it stopped working. The first time was just a minute ago when I went back onto the clean channel and I realised I put the master volume to 0, so no sound when the volume's at 0, and that was me accidentally pulling the cable out. Tons of character in it though, and that clean, because it's clean, but there's tons of overdrive and all that in it. You can kind of feel it squeezing through those odd harmonics and all that. You know, they're there, giving it the sound. Yay! that doesn't mean the sound was cutting in and out. I kind of get the feeling it was. Rock on. I'll have to check this video, make sure it worked. It might be Christmas Day today. Merry Christmas.